Wilkin County.
So
You
I
ever
sent him
heard
a
of that?
spreadsheet where it was.
What's up north?
He was
showing
there
the
for
difference.
40-some years, well, about
We're up.
40.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and call the meeting to order. We'd like to introduce our newest Human Service Director, Ann Broskoff. Ann is taking over for retiring Barb Dietz on January 5th. So Ann will be joining our group here. Like to have approval of the minutes from the last meeting on September 13th.
I move to approve.
No, second.
First and second. The next things we have to discuss is Sarah will be coming. She just got off the route. The Herman Express holiday closings are one thing we wanted to visit with you all about. The county holiday is Friday, December 22nd. Heartland will operate, both Heartland and Herman, until 4 o'clock that Friday. And then both of the services will be closed Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. We'll restart service again on Tuesday. Herman will operate the Saturday before New Year's, though.
Okay.
So no change there. And then I have went ahead and used the same visitor guide ad that we had in the 23 visitor guide, and it was included in the packet. It shows the map for visitors when they're in town. Also has the QR code on there too. So I didn't want to make any changes to it because I felt like it had done a pretty good job with that. And then if we could have a bench report from you, Tom. I missed the meeting yesterday with the Optimist Club.
That is kind of the report. When you weren't there, they had plenty going. They were wrapping gifts for our program that runs through Human Services viciously. Yeah, they had that back room at the country club full of tables and wrapping paper, and it filled 2 vehicles with stuff.
Wow.
To all kinds of families. And I thought getting there a little late that maybe I wouldn't be called upon for the job. Yes, they gave me a 6-year-old girl with a ton of clothes.
Oh, to wrap.
She's dressed for the whole school year now. So yes, I had a good time anyway.
Good,
Someone stepped in and helped
good.
when they saw I was messing it up.
So we were hoping that the Sertoma Club would purchase a
Yeah.
bench for the Emerson Union. It kind of got tabled because we had a driver meeting last night and I wasn't able to get there on time. And the meeting had wrapped up by the time I arrived. So I think we're going to be on the back burner. I think we'll maybe hopefully revisit that again maybe this spring. Is that kind of,
They'd
Where we're-
like to get it off their agenda.
they
Yes.
just don't want it? Okay,
Well, no, they just need to vote yes or no, but until you're there with information they want, because I didn't have it, and you would,
sure,
or Sarah would,
sure.
or both. So that's what's holding it up.
Okay,
And I think it may be a split vote, I don't know.
okay. Well, I'll try and make that next meeting then, and so we can,
January,
and
there's
we,
2 meetings a month. It's a first, or second and fourth Tuesday nights. at
Tuesday night,
6
okay.
o'clock, 6:30.
6:30, okay. So we'll go ahead and table that then until we get more,
You don't have driver meetings in January,
no,
so
no,
you're gonna be more free.
free, yeah.
Okay.
It's just my own schedule, but
I
think-
remembered what driver meetings were like, and I said, I think he could be late.
right.
A lot of
Um,
issues.
Right, correct. The status of the operation of the Herman Express bus, the bus was involved in a slight accident, hit a light pole in the Hy-Vee parking lot. So for about a month or better, we were using one of the Heartland buses with the magnets on. We were posting that on Facebook and such, but the bus is now up and running again. And hopefully we got everything taken care of, because after we got it fixed, then there were some other small issues that came up with it that we had to get fixed, so yeah. But hopefully we're on the up and up with that, and we'll keep the Herman Express on the road, so.
Is there a fault place somewhere? They just said it was one of those things.
One of those things, yeah.
Crowded, busy parking lot.
Kind of, yeah.
They were driving right into the sun about 4:15, 4:20, and the sun was low and right in their face. So it was just bad timing.
Time of the year.
Chris, did you want to talk about a replacement for Michelle? Because Michelle, this is your last meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, we can open that up to anyone here if you know a community member that would potentially be interested. Again, we can fill it as soon as humanly possible, but again, if it takes us a month or two, that's fine.
Sure.
As well. And then it's pretty much open to any community member. So if you know someone, and then either have them contact myself or Lisa Pelzel
Lisa? Okay.
upstairs, so we can
Okay.
get that going.
It'd be nice to have somebody that would be community minded and would be interested in the transportation piece of it, because it's good to have a rider on the panel, but I think just somebody that wants to see this bus continue and be successful, like you have been, Michelle. Thank you for your service. And I wanted to thank Barb Dietz too, who is not at this meeting, for her support. She was really helpful in getting this off the ground with us and kind of held our hand for some of it. So I just wanted to thank her publicly for her support. And then I don't have a whole lot, so hopefully Sarah will be
Can I ask
here.
a question?
Sure.
I'm just curious, what is the recruitment process like for a community member? Is there like something posted on a website or an application process, or how
this-
do we go about recruiting that person?
For this specific committee, there really isn't a process.
Okay.
It's more kind of word of mouth, and then tapping in to that. And if we get multiple, individuals, we can bring that to the committee to select someone from there. I'll even tap into the mayor, because she's currently filling committees at this point, to see if she knows someone that would
Okay.
actively be there. But it's not a committee of the city, so the mayor typically wouldn't appoint to this.
Okay, thank you.
Good question. Thank you. Yeah, because Tom and Michelle were your members, and we had, and she hasn't been coming, but we have one member
Yep.
too as well. So, and then we felt that with Nate and I and Sarah, and with Ann here now, we're kind of Heartland heavy, so we didn't want to really bring anyone else on board. We felt, because usually you have a city council member too.
Yes.
I think Eric usually sits in with us when he's able.
Yes.
So I think we're pretty well. I don't think we want to add anyone else.
No.
And now we're just meeting quarterly, so it's not a huge time commitment like it was when we were first getting this off the ground, where we were meeting monthly or more often. Maybe an update I would have for you is we're working on having a meeting with the state. They're hiring a consultant for the electric buses.
Okay.
So that process is not even started. So, but they needed to hire a consultant first, because it's all so new to the state. They've
Okay.
really never dealt with electric vehicles. And to go through that grant the way it's written, they wanted to make sure they had all the T's crossed and the I's dotted before they move too far with it. So I'm probably going to be having a meeting in the next week or so with the consultant. He'll come in, or that person will come in, and will help us with the bus selection at that point. And I'm not sure how involved the city wants to be with that, Chris. Maybe that's something you and I can discuss.
Yeah.
What kind of options, we want on it. Since the first bus is 100% covered, the second bus is 90% covered.
Yep.
There might be some options that you guys would want to add on to that. So we can have those discussions as we move forward with it. And then there's also some dollars in there for infrastructure and such too. So
Perfect.
some decisions that'll have to be made that I kind of want your guys' input with, because it's more the city's
Yep.
stake than ours for that.
Perfect.
Base and the charging equipment
Is all covered under that grant.
covered.
Yeah.
Does what we need really exist out there or available is maybe more than
As far as a bus, they do make them. They're in the infancy stages, so actually I think we're probably at an advantage to hold on as long as we can, because I think the technology is just going to get better, because right now they're saying the technology is about 150 miles, and our routes are a little over 160. But I'm thinking that if we, can hold off, the technology is going to just improve. And hopefully we'll see, by being later to the game than earlier to the game, that we'll end up with a bus that is able to complete the route, for an entire day. So
Has there been any discussion with the state about just how we store and take care of our buses?
that's kind of one of the issues that we're going to be facing, and that's why the consultant is going to be really helpful for us, because what we have now is not going to work for where we keep the vehicles. It's because we have to move out, every summer for the fair, and those charging stations are quite heavy and don't move very easily. Also, we're in an unheated facility, which doesn't do kind to electric vehicles. They like something at least at 50 degrees. So our storage facility is our biggest ask right now from the state.
That's first before the buses.
Yeah, because we need to have that in place before any bus would come. And, if we're not able to secure a location, what we may need to do is ask the city to have a facility, maybe you guys have a maintenance facility or something where we'd store the bus at that point, for a short-term solution.
Yeah.
Till we can come up with a longer-term solution, so. Yeah, so those are questions definitely that will need to be ironed out before we move too far along in the process.
I've never seen a Marshall facility, but sounds like just a whole lot convenience built into it.
Yeah.
Washing Bay.
Wash Bay, yeah. They do not have an electric bus over there yet, but the facility that is just gotten built over in Austin, they're getting an electric bus, and they when they built the building, they built it with charging stations already ready to go. So Fairmont did the same thing when they rehabbed their facility, so they're turnkey ready to go. So
Was the state friendly on the subject of us getting financing for building?
It's interesting when you say that, because when we go through the state for them to finance these things, then we have to follow all their federal and state regulations with having to pay, what do they call that when you have to pay people, the prevailing wage. Where if we do it on our own, Administrator Hanson and I have had those discussions, we'd rather just probably purchase a building and then lease it back to us. So do a 20-year amortization, where we would pay a higher rent instead of the county or instead of the state building or purchasing something for us. It's going to be a lot cheaper for the county to do it that way. And there'll be dollars in my budget that would allow us to pay a higher rent. So that's kind of the direction that I think Sam and I are looking at, just because when you have to do federal and state funding for a building, it's very cumbersome, to be honest. We built that building over in Sleepy Eye. You were kind of part of that. And we figured that we probably paid about 145% more than, or 45% more than we would have if we would have done it with county dollars.
And it was a lot simpler building than what we're talking
Right.
about now.
Right,
It had a lot of things
Right.
going for it.
right.
A lot of
And the nice thing with
features.
this is we'll have the consultant that will help us with the building, either building a building or rehabbing a building that's currently in New Ulm. So, but we'll have the consultant to help us with that, so, at no cost to us, you know.
They're gonna provide that.
Right.
person.
Yeah,
Where they have them.
right. So, well, now that Sarah's arrived, I know that Joe has to leave early, and so if you want to go ahead and give your report, Sarah.
Sure. So since our last meeting in September, October and November were really good ridership months for us. We had 443 and 465 respectively. The only month that was better was March, and that was our last free month. We haven't had any new stop requests, but a couple requests have come through that we work towards running through the noon hour instead of taking the time off. Some other things just to make you aware of, I heard a lot of positive comments and fielded many questions from riders and the public after the one-year follow-up article in the Journal. I'm just wondering, Chris, what feedback you got from the city council since we also shared that information with you. We put that little report together for you.
Again, I think city council likes the direction this is going. Again, we've hit the numbers, faster than, what was it, Marshall hit those
Right.
numbers. MnDOT is really impressed with what we're doing here. They haven't heard really any negative comments, about the bus as well. And it is something that, the city actively needs. And I'm just waiting for those second and third buses to come so we can rearrange that route to make it a little bit easier for travelers to get around. But again, I think
Right.
the bus is serving its purpose. It's providing transportation that the city needs, for a town our size.
For sure, for sure.
Okay.
Noon hour closing has got to be an issue.
Well, it's just that some individuals unfortunately still haven't figured it out.
Yeah.
And then they wonder why.
Knowing it.
Well, we tell them, when they get on, we say, okay, you understand, we're going to, oh, well, I guess I'm going to go. And then when they know, we've told them, well, we won't be back around till 1 whatever. And then when we do get there, then they're still like, well, what took so long? Well, we need our lunch break too. So anyway, that, again, I'm just,
Our plans for that going down the road here.
Well, the hope is that with the two buses, we'll do a circulator, so there'll be like one on the north, one on the south. And then meet in the middle. I don't know if we figured out the hour thing, the lunchtime yet thing, but that's something we'll have to explore as we get closer to it,
But it's really pretty far away then. We're waiting for
Yeah,
buses.
yeah.
Are we waiting only for electric for that? If they can't provide the electric, they're not going to provide anything subsidized.
Well, I think the thought was when we got 2 electric buses is when we'd start the circulator portion of it, to wait for that to happen. Because then I think by then we'll have, a better grasp on what we need,
I think some of it's pretty obvious.
Right.
I just hate to see it pushed off years.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm thinking, the electric, but maybe I'm wrong. I
Yeah.
hope I'm wrong. But I agree with having things worked out a little better, especially in how long the charges last. That's a big concern.
Yeah.
We're all setting like,
What I noticed is Sarah does about 162 miles a day on the Herman route, but with 2 electrics, doing one on the north, one on the south, you're gonna cut mileage and the battery should be able to cover it. It won't be a 16-mile loop, it might only be a 9 or 10-mile loop 10 times a day, so you're
Right.
gonna cut mileage and the battery shouldn't be an issue.
good point. Maybe you mentioned this, Pat, but we are looking for new software that can run our fixed route and be more user-friendly for the driver. And one of them that we're currently looking at is Transtuitive.
Right.
So just making you aware of that, because that did come up at our driver meeting last night. Again, the hassle trying to get stuff in, but still try and keep the schedule going, so. It would be really valuable if we can hook into something that's more driver-friendly. And then something for the city and, either who I need to contact, but stops during the winter that need to be cleared. Linderhof, we've got to make a decision one way, because that driveway, to pull up to the driveway is just too close to where Garden and 16th meet. So either that somehow something can get cleared by that light post, or if we get permission from Linderhof, that we somehow pull into their parking lot and back out. But again, that's a whole visibility thing when the cars start parking out on the street. So that's one of my concerns. And then the other one that is a bigger issue for me too is Herman Heights now. Can we get a loop through that parking lot, at least 2 passes through? Because I have a regular rider that works at the college and needs to get off there. I need to be able to pull in. I don't want to pull in, try and back up, if we can just do that circular loop. So I know we talked about it last year, and there was kind of a path, and then it snowed, and then it was so rutted. It was terrible. So just putting that request in. I'm not trying to jinx us and any snow, but those would be my 2 main concerns right now. So if I need to contact I just don't remember the gentleman's name, or if you would touch base
And
and,
we'll touch base with our public works director, and then we'll probably get a small meeting with us all
Okay.
together, so we can
That'd be good.
see what you're actually looking for.
Okay.
And where, and see if that's feasible for us to do something.
okay, I'd really appreciate that. Thank you. That's it for me then.
Just as a side note too, Ann came out on Monday and met with Nate and I, and also rode the Herman Express for the entire hour, so.
Yep.
So she kind of knows what this is about here, so this is
do.
not new to her.
Lovely day for a ride.
Yeah, nice day for a ride, and we didn't have many riders that day, but what have you been averaging, Sarah? It's been like, the other day, it was like 22 riders just in the morning loop, which is just
Right.
astounding.
So again, the average day, we're right around the 20 mark now, where before, if we were in the low teens, so very happy with that.
And our Saturdays have picked up too.
Yes, they have. We had 2 Saturdays ago, 23, and then this past Saturday was 10, so.
And if you remember, sometimes this
Yeah.
summer we were having 0
0.
or 1 or 2, so maybe the holidays have something to do with that, but we're hoping that continues, so.
Perfect.
Yeah,
A lot of it is awareness.
yeah,
Heartland has never been a Saturday
service,
proposition, and
right,
people think, oh, yeah, same.
yeah,
No, it's not the same.
right. So,
Different name, although it's confusing.
is there anything else that either anyone has for the good of the order? Hearing
Hear
none.
Nothing but positive.
Herman? How about you?
Well-
Do you guys take any
People complain.
any issues,
I've-
Joe or?
I received
Chris,
0
nothing.
complaints.
Yeah, and so no news is good news, I guess, right?
Point, yes.
So I guess with that, we'll go ahead and adjourn. Can I get a first and a second?
You want to set the next meeting, Pat, or just that?
Oh, yeah, let's do that. So it'd be the quarter, we're looking at the, so we could do March, if we want to stay on this quarterly, deal, and that would be like the 13th is a Wednesday at noon. Anyone's calendar
I'm fine with
opposed to that? Looks like, thank you for the reminder, Joe. So March 13th at Wednesday at noon, Chamber office again. And with that, we'll do a first and second for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion first and second, meeting is adjourned. Were they talking to us?
Lunch.
Start my lunch.
I certainly get a lot of compliments about you. They love their driver.
Are you staying in New Ulm, I hope?
We do
Yeah,
have a
I'll
big
be at
Cora
Martin
driver.
Luther College.
Oh, I know.
And Ridge
That's where
River.
Sarah came from.
Yeah, Oh, yeah, I hear about all that.
groundskeeper there.
All
So
the drivers are friendly.
that's exciting, huh?
And you get some customers now that never rode before on the other project.
How have you been?